Profoundly moved many people during 1982. No roaring log fires or gift-wrapped presents, just flimsy plastic tents, sodden sleeping bags and the endless mud. But the Christmas spirit is alive and well at the women's peace camp at Ulm Common. Their peaceful protest against the sighting of cruise missiles here is into its second winter, despite attempts to evict the women. They'd been to prison for their beliefs, and their new style of politics based on emotion has spread to create other peace camps and boost the campaign for nuclear disarmament. Liz Baker has come from Cornwall to join the camp for Christmas.
I'm the one who wasn't so committed that I couldn't get away, and I've given up. I was invited to parties all over Christmas. My husband, who's very supportive, he knows that this is a women's camp. He couldn't come. His support was to give up his Christmas, and he said, never mind, I'll do some scrambled eggs, you know.
About 20 women will spend Christmas Day here. Already visitors are arriving from all over the country.
We're from Exeter, and so I thought we would like to just come along and wish them all the best here, and we brought them some mince pies and a Christmas card and greetings from Exeter CND.
The women aren't sure what they'll be eating tomorrow when everyone else is tucking into roast turkey, but they're encouraged by the endless stream of good wishes. One with a donation pinned inside was sent by a sympathiser from within the base. 1982 meant imprisonment for some of these women. What will happen in 83?
We will reverse the decision, the NATO decision to site cruise missiles in Europe, and we'll start winding back the whole nuclear escalation. That's what I think 1983 will mean, and I think it's a really crucial year.
Mrs. Thatcher seems determined not to listen to you. Is all this worth it?
Oh, this is certainly worth it. After all, Mrs. Thatcher's got to come to an election very, very soon. I think the nuclear issue is going to be one of the issues on which the election is decided.
What do you say to the people that say you should be at home with your families at Christmas at this time of the year?
I think they're right, and when I'm sure that we aren't going to have cruise missiles, then I will gladly go home and be with my family. But at the moment, I think that in order to create the possibility of a future for that family, I've got to be here working against the missiles.
And now the time has come, and they have come to speak of many things. From Bologna, Italy, and Beatrice, Nebraska, Edogawa, Japan, and East Harlem in New York City. A great ingathering of people, some to demonstrate, some to make a beginning, some to challenge, some non-violently to bear witness. But sharing a single idea, all governments must stop the madness of nuclear armament. The building of weapons so fast, so accurate, and so devastating that they invite a nuclear first strike.
I guess basically I have to be an optimist from the point of view of my religious faith. I think Quakers are basically optimistic about the universe because we feel that the universe is intended to be peaceful. What's happened in the last year and a half, 2 years, with the growing freeze movement and the peace movement has been terribly exciting and very, very encouraging. A lot of long, slow, nitty-gritty, unrewarding work is finally in the open, and that's very exciting and very gratifying.
In Poland, the Russians faced a fresh challenge. The new Pope, Karol Wojtyła, visited his homeland. He called on his flock to recapture control of their destiny.
It broke down the barrier of fear. We saw that if we could stick together in solidarity, the authorities would have less power.
The Polish economy was in crisis. There were shortages everywhere. Western loans had been squandered, and the country was burdened by foreign debt. When the government yet again raised food prices in the summer of 1980, Workers at the Gdansk shipyard staged an illegal strike. The strikers drew up a 21-point list of demands and refused to leave the shipyard until they were met.
This fight with the communist monster was really impossible. We could only fight against it by using its own weapons, because it pretended to be the people's system. The only effective way was for us to organize around bread and butter issues and use these concerns to gain our freedom. We set about using truth to conquer untruth.
The government decided to negotiate with the strikers, but first it promised there would be no reprisals.
Jak jest możliwe, żeby ktoś traktował działaczy tutaj zebranych?
Panie premierze, kiedy ja mam dziesiątki straszenia mnie już, że jak tylko wyjdę, to będzie to i to. Ja nie tylko.
Proszę pana, to i mnie wtedy trzeba przepędzić.
Nie możemy ulegać emocji.
Nie ma takiej intencji.
What began as an economic protest became a demand for sweeping political concessions. The government negotiators gave way to the workers' key demands.
Mamy wreszcie niezależne, samorządne związki zawodowe. Mamy prawo do strajku.
The workers were joined by intellectuals. Together they formed a new movement, Solidarity.
I'm a victor here, I am the rebel warrior. I have risen along with my head held high. I will only rest when the constantly oppressed no longer reach the sky. When the sound of the sword of the oppressor no longer rings in battle, hear my war cry. Hear my war cry. Yes, I'm laying to your side. Yes, got out of control. God, no one in your nose. So she be for your forgiveness. Sing only you for dance. No longer need a witness. So take my word, man. There's my sentence. 100,000 years of repentance. 100,000 years of repentance. Check my anger. It's real. Wait, no talking. I'll be satisfied only when your back's been broken. It's mine. But I'm a mission to burn down your empire, man. I've been building you a funeral pyre. The fire in my eyes. It looks good to kill. I won't be satisfied until I find my will. So check my anger. It's real. Wait, no talking. I'll be satisfied only when your back's been broken. I'm in it.
Walking through the streets of Seoul at night, even I can almost believe. Almost believe in the fragile surface of prosperity made from concrete and flat screens. It would be easy to walk these streets and not notice the violence just beneath the surface, the slow, crushing poverty of the working poor, and the crisis that looms just ahead of us. Bai Del-ho spent his life in the factory. Over 2 decades, he built a family and a home and some dignity there. But when the IMF came to privatize the industry, he struck with his union, and then they took away his job, his home, his bank account, and his children's future. On a Sunday morning in May, he set himself on fire in front of his factory gate. We have seen what the system has done in other countries, and we know what hunger looks like in the street. When we strike today, we are fighting for our lives, for our children's lives, for the lives of those who came before.
Good evening, I'm Peter Mansbridge. Tonight, a special extended edition of Sunday Report. Extended because of the extraordinary number of major news developments around the world.
We can never do enough to try to increase awareness of human rights in our world, because this world is dominated by the presence of human beings. It is only when human beings work hard that they can make this world into the kind of place that is suitable for all living creatures on it. But for human beings to be able to do what they should be able to do, they also need the rights that are basic to the dignity of every human being. This is why this competition for a human rights logo is so important. We hope that this logo will bring it home to people everywhere that our basic needs are the same wherever we may be, wherever we may live, wherever we may strive. So because of that, I'm very, very pleased to be able to do whatever I can to support this competition. And I have to confess that I hope very much that somebody from Burma will be able to make an impact with whatever design he submits for the interest of human beings anywhere, everywhere, in the interests of human beings all over the world.
Whispering voices in my head, sounds like they're calling my name. A heavy hand is shaking my bed. I'm waking up and I feel the strain. I'm feeling pushed again. I'm feeling pushed again. Why should I go where everyone goes? Why should I do what everyone does? I don't like it when you get too close. I don't wanna be under your thumb. I'm feeling pushed again. Pushed again. I'm feeling pushed
to love, to be loved, to never forget your own insignificance, to never get used to the unspeakable violence and the vulgar disparity of life around you, to seek joy in the saddest places, to pursue beauty to its lair, to never simplify what is complicated or complicate what is simple, to respect strength, never power, above all to watch, to try and understand, to never look away, and never, never to forget.
We see a completely non-racial society. We don't believe, for instance, in the so-called guarantees for minority rights, because guaranteeing minority rights implies the recognition of portions of the community on a race basis. We believe that in our country there shall be no minority, there shall be no majority, there shall just be people. And those people will have the same status before the law, and they will have the same political rights before the law. So in a sense, it will be a completely non-racial egalitarian society.
But will the vast number of blacks, after all their experiences, be able to live a life without giving vent to feelings of revenge, of
yes, we believe it is the duty of the vanguard political movement which brings about change to educate people's outlooks. I mean, in the same way that blacks have never lived in a socialist economic system, they've got to learn to live in one. In the same way that they've always lived in a racially divided society, they've got to learn to live in a non-racial society. They've got many things to learn, and all these must be brought to them and explained to the people by the vanguard movement, which is leading the revolution.
I'm here for other children. I'm here because I care. I'm here because children everywhere are suffering, and because 40,000 people die each day from hunger. I'm here because those people are mostly children. We have got to understand that the poor are all around us and we're ignoring them. We have got to understand that these deaths are preventable. We have got to understand that people in third world countries think and care and smile and cry just like us. We have got to understand that they are us, we are them. My dream is to stop hunger by the year 2000. My dream is to give the poor a chance. My dream is to save the 40,000 people who die each day. My dream can and will come true if we all look into the future and see the light that shines there.
A 23-year-old American activist stands in front of an Israeli bulldozer in Gaza.
Midnight
Tonight our sons and daughters were cut down, taken from us. We hear their heartbeat, we hear their hearts beat. In the wind we hear their laughter, in the rain we see their tears and hear their heartbeat, we hear their hearts beat. Night hangs like a prisoner, stretched o'er black and blue. We hear their heartbeat, we hear their hearts beat. In the trees our sons stand naked, through the walls our daughters cry. We see their tears in rainfall.
La, 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 la. Dear Mr. President, come take a walk with me. Take a walk with me. How do you sleep while the rest of us cry? How do you dream when a mother has no chance to say goodbye? How do you walk with your head held high? Can you even look me in the eye and tell me why? We're not dumb and we're not blind. They're all sitting in your cells while you pave the road to hell. You sleep while the rest of us cry.
Fort Benning, Georgia, the home to the School of the Americas, or the recently renamed Western Hemisphere Institute for Security Cooperation. Founded in the early days of the Cold War, 62 years ago, the School of the Americas was designed to train Latin American soldiers on how to fight communism in their own countries. But it quickly became known as the School of the Assassins after its graduates were implicated in the massacres in Guatemala and El Salvador, coups in Chile, and even present-day drug cartel violence in Colombia and Mexico. Right now, they're setting up barbed wire in anticipation of the events to come this weekend. This is the headquarters of the School of the Americas Watch. Founded by Jesuit priest Father Ray Bourgeois 20 years ago, it began with only 10 activists here, just outside the gates of Fort Benning. The activists were interested in what was going on inside and how it was affecting Latin America. Today, well over 10,000 activists gather here to oppose the continued militarization and what it's done to the populations there. We're here just a few miles outside of Fort Benning, Georgia, the location of the School of the Americas. We're at what's called the puppet making workshop, where activists have gathered to start putting together some of the symbols of militarization and the fight against it in the Americas. Here we have putting together sand and stop signs symbolizing the fight to end militarization, end military spending, and end the training that goes on at the School of the Americas. And here also we have what's called the three-headed hydra of the military-industrial complex. The government, the military, and the big corporations and their money that make it all possible. Over here we have activists making crosses to remember the many victims of the School of the Americas graduates throughout history. The School of the Americas has graduated 65,000 soldiers from 18 different countries, most of them responsible for the most heinous human rights abuses committed in this hemisphere. From Columbus, Georgia, I'm Kaylin Ford, RT.